Emma checked her environmental suit's integrity readings for the third time that hour. The forest moon of Kalara 7 hummed with alien life, its bioluminescent canopy casting shifting patterns of blue and violet across the moss-covered ground. She'd been sent here alone, a punishment, really, for questioning Command's decision to abandon the research outpost. Typical human stubbornness. Commander Jakar had clicked through his translator, his mantis-like form towering over her. You cannot save everyone, Emma Chen, but she could try. Roman's last transmission had been garbled, desperate. Her partner, both in research and in the quiet moments between Ching S, had stayed behind when the evacuation order came. Something about the indigenous fauna, a discovery too important to abandon. That was Roman, brilliant, reckless, convinced that understanding was worth any risk. Emma pushed through a curtain of hanging vines, their tendrils withdrawing from her touch with a curious intelligence. The settlement's beacon pulsed weakly on her heads-up display, still 3 kilometers northeast. Her boots squelched in the undergrowth, and she tried not to think about the venomous millipedes Roman had catalogued, each one capable of dropping a Kralix warrior in seconds. A sound stopped her mid-step, not the usual symphony of clicks and whistles that filled Kalara 7's forests. This was different. A mewling, high-pitched and unmistakably distressed. Emma's hand went to the plasma cutter on her hip. Not much of a weapon, but it would do in a pinch. She moved toward the sound, parting a cluster of fern-like plants with luminous edges. In a small clearing, a creature no bigger than a house cat writhed in a tangle of thorned vines. Its fur was a deep crimson, marked with swirling patterns of gold. 6 legs kicked uselessly, and large dark eyes rolled in panic. Blood, viscous and purple, oozed from where the thorns had pierced its hide. A Kalaran dire cat cub, Emma's breath caught. Roman had shown her his research. These creatures were apex predators capable of taking down prey 10 times their size. Their adults were the size of earth tigers, with territorial ranges spanning hundreds of kilometers. And they were fiercely protective of their young. Emma glanced around nervously. No sign of the mother yet. Every instinct screamed at her to move on. She had maybe an hour before nightfall, when Kalara 7's forests became exponentially more dangerous. Roman needed her. This wasn't her problem. The cub mewed again, weaker this time. Damn it. Roman, your bleeding heart is contagious, Emma muttered. She approached carefully, making soft clicking sounds. A calming pattern Roman had discovered worked on most of the moon's fauna. The cub's eyes locked onto her, ears flattening. Emma knelt, plasma cutter ready to sever the vines. The moment she cut the first vine, the cub struck, its jaws clamped onto her boot, needle-sharp teeth finding purchase in the reinforced material. Emma yelped, jerking back, but the cub held on with surprising strength, growling through its tiny throat. Really? I'm trying to help you. She cut another vine, then another. The cub's hind legs came free, and it immediately used them to dig claws into her shin guard, climbing up her leg like she was a tree. Still biting the boot, Emma cut the last vine and stood. The cub dangled from her boot, all 6 legs wrapped around her calf now, absolutely determined not to let go. Look, I don't have time for this, Emma said, trying to shake her leg gently. The cub just bit harder, a vibration that she felt through the reinforced sole. Your mom is probably going to eat me anyway when she shows up. She tried to pry the creature loose. It hissed, and she noticed its teeth had actually punctured through the outer layer of her boot. One of those teeth got any deeper and it would hit skin. Emma's suit display flashed a warning. Movement detected. Large biomass signature approaching from the west. Oh, perfect, she couldn't wait. Emma made a decision that would have horrified her survival instructors. She started walking, cub still firmly attached to her boot. The creature bounced with each step but refused to release its grip. If anything, it held on tighter. Emma broke into a jog, then a run, weaving between the massive trees. Behind her, a roar split the air, deep, resonant, and absolutely furious. The mother had arrived. Emma's display lit up with threat warnings. She pushed harder, the cub now making confused, chittering sounds as it swung from her boot like some kind of absurd furry pendulum. Her lungs burned, but fear was an excellent motivator. She vaulted over a fallen log, crashed through a stream, and somehow kept her footing on the slippery stones. The cub never let go. Its determination was almost admirable. The mother's footfalls shook the ground behind her, growing closer. Emma could hear the creature's breathing, see trees shaking as it shouldered them aside. She wasn't going to make it. Then she saw it. A ravine, narrow and deep, its edges choked with the thick elastic vines that Kalara 7 seemed to grow everywhere. Without thinking, Emma grabbed a handful of vines and jumped. She swung across the gap, the cub adding its panicked yowls to her own shout. They hit the far side hard, Emma rolling to absorb the impact. The mother skidded to a halt at the ravine's edge, roaring her frustration. Emma lay gasping, staring up at the luminous canopy. The cub finally released her boot and climbed onto her chest, where it promptly curled up and began purring, a sound like distant thunder. "You've got to be kidding me," Emma wheezed. She didn't have time to argue. The settlement was close now, just over the next ridge. Emma stood and the cub immediately latched back onto her boot. "Fine. Whatever. You're committed. I'll give you that." She walked the last kilometer with the cub attached. Its weight a constant reminder of humanity's particular brand of insanity. The inability to walk past a creature in need, even when logic demanded otherwise. When Emma finally stumbled into the settlement, Roman was standing in the doorway of the main hab, very much alive. His eyes widened as he took in her disheveled appearance and her unusual passenger. "Emma, is that a dire cat cub on your boot?" "Long story," she said, finally prying the creature loose and handing it to him. It immediately tried to bite his fingers. "You're welcome, by the way." "For the rescue." Roman laughed, that warm sound she'd missed desperately. "I wasn't in danger. Communications were just down. But clearly you were busy making friends." The cub bit his thumb, drawing blood. Roman just smiled. "Yeah," Emma said, watching the tiny predator with grudging affection. "That's one word for it." Later, when the Galactic Council asked why humanity had been admitted to the Federation, despite their technological disadvantages, Elder Zakar would cite this incident. Not for its heroism or tactical brilliance, but for what it revealed about human nature. When a human decided something was worth protecting, they simply walked forward no matter what tried to stop them, even if it was literally biting their boot the entire way.